esteemed speaker has arrived. We will begin shortly. Kindly settle down and take your seats as we prepare to start. Thank you for your cooperation. DFA officials, members of the Diplomatic Corps, FSI colleagues, guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. We are truly delighted to have you with us today. This morning, we welcome you to the 15th Ambassadors Lecture Series, a platform for the heads of diplomatic missions in Manila to share their knowledge, experiences, and advocacies. This event aims to foster stronger understanding and collaboration, guiding us toward deeper insights, actions, and shared goals of cooperation, economic development, and peace. My name is Christina Bernadette Mojica, and I will be your MC for today's event. To officially begin the program, allow me to introduce our guest lecturer for this morning. Our speaker for today is the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the Philippines, His Excellency Ambassador Agus Widjojo. His Excellency Ambassador Agus Widjojo graduated from the Indonesian National Armed Forces Academy. He holds a triple master's degree, Masters of Military Art and Science from the U.S. Army Command and General Staff College, Master of Science in National Security from the U.S. National Defense University, and Master of Public Administration from George Washington University. He served the Indonesian Armed Forces and earned the rank of Lieutenant General. He served in various positions such as the Chief of Territorial Affairs, Commandant of the Armed Forces Staff College, and Deputy Chairman of the People's Consultative Assembly. He also served as member of the International Commission for Control and Supervision based in Vietnam and the UN Emergency Force 2 contingent based in the Sinai Peninsula. He was a commissioner in the Indonesia-Timor-Leste Commission of Truth and Friendship and governor of the National Resilience Institute of the Republic of Indonesia from 2016 to 2022. Currently, he serves as the Ambassador Extraordinary and Plenipotentiary of the Republic of Indonesia to the Republic of the Philippines, accredited to the Republic of Marshall Islands and the Republic of Palau. To share with us this morning his insights on towards a prosperous diplomatic relations between Indonesia and the Philippines, please join me in welcoming the Ambassador of the Republic of Indonesia to the Philippines, is His Excellency Agus Widjojo.
Ini saya mengoperasikan atau bukan? Kamu aja. Okay. Good morning, everybody. A very scary morning for me with all the ambassadors present here. Excellencies, ambassadors, we have Her Excellency Ambassador of Brunei, Ambassador of Argentina, Ambassador of Brazil, and Ambassador of the Philippines to the Philippines. Ambassador of the Philippines to Indonesia and Ambassador of the Philippines to the Philippines. And of Myanmar. Good morning to all of you. Yes, actually, I would like to get away from the traditional method of delivery, and that is, I would like more to be on a more on a question and answer methodology. Interactive, yeah, that's the word that I'm looking for. More interactive, and to get away from the traditional figures, statistics, which you may most see in policy brief or maybe on a diplomatic brief. I would give you a chance to ask about Indonesia, about things that maybe you don't know yet about Indonesia, maybe that you rarely heard about Indonesia. So for the question and answer, I would push you to ask any questions that you may have about Indonesia, and I can assure you that I don't have all the answers. So with that, we don't have much time, so I think good morning, Madam. Yes, good morning, Her Excellency, Ambassador of South Africa. Yes, so we have not much time, so I think I would just go in a fast pace of what I have the basic informations about, and hopefully we have enough time for question and answers. Thank you. First of all, allow me to begin by expressing my sincere gratitude to Attorney Francisco Noel R. Fernandez, the third LLM, Director General of the Foreign Service Institute, for the kind invitation to speak at this esteemed Ambassador Lecture Series. I would like also to extend my appreciation to the Excellency Ambassadors, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and all distinguished guests for your presence today. On this occasion, I am honored to share with you today's presentation titled Toward a Prosperous Diplomatic Relations Between Indonesia and the Philippines. Maybe I'm too ambitious to cover the whole scope of the bilateral relations. Maybe that is a little bit too much. So I just hit on the important issues. With an overview of the platform of our bilateral relationship between Indonesia and the Philippines, reflecting on the key of milestone of our cooperation and explore the way forward toward achieving a more prosperous and mutually beneficial partnership. And next. Yes, these are the main topics of discussion in which I will present to you. We start with the strong historical ties. Here, I want to present to you that relationship between Indonesia and the Philippines does not start and happen in the modern times or modern history, but it started a long way back throughout our history and traditions. Then I would try to hit on the shared value of global politics between the two countries, and next I would conclude in the natural geopolitical necessity. Next, our countries our countries are bound not only by geography, but deep historical and cultural ties that stretch back over 1,000 years. One of the most compelling symbols of this connection lies in the remarkable artifact, the Laguna copper plate inscription, discovered in 1989 in the province of Laguna in the Philippines and dated to the year 900 AD. What makes this inscription fascinating is not only the document as the earliest known written record in Philippine history, but also written in the Kawi script, originating from Java, and it's used a blend of Old Malay, Sanskrit, Old Javanese, and Old Tagalog. The single artifact tells a profound story that even over a millennium ago, the peoples of our archipelago were already engaged in shared cultural, economic, and political scene. I would next hit on the sharing of ethnic groups that in addition to the Laguna copper plate inscription, The deep-rooted kinship between Indonesia and the Philippines could be found through a shared ancestry and cultural aspect. Among others, it can be seen in the Bajo ethnic, also known as the sea nomads or Sama Bajo. They inhabit the maritime zones of southern Philippines, eastern Malaysia, and eastern Indonesia. The Malaya ethnic, the Malay language and customs influenced in the early politics of both Indonesia and the Philippines, as shown in the Laguna inscription. The Manado ethnic and cultural links stretches from the northern part of Sulawesi of Indonesia to Mindanao in the southern Philippines. And evidence of those can be found in woven textile traditions, ikat or pinahudaan in Manado, that show remarkable similarities in pattern dyeing techniques and cultural symbolism with the indigenous peoples of Mindanao, particularly among the Maranao, Tiboli, and Yakan in Mindanao area. And of course, about the Dayak tribes inside Kalimantan, share commonly ancestry and cultural motifs with indigenous Lumat groups in Mindanao and Palawan. Similarities in traditional weaving, body art, oral epics, and spiritual beliefs hint at a border Austronesian heritage that predates political borders. I will move into the more modern Indonesia and Philippines relations. Our two nations formally established diplomatic relations on the 24th of November 1949. Since then, our relationship has grown through the opening of embassies, invoice exchange, and multiple dialogues initiation, guided not only by strategic interests, political, defense, security, economic, and socio-cultural, but also by a deep understanding rooted in shared history and mutual respect. And I would like especially to make a note here about Excellency Carlos P. Romulo, a distinguished Filipino diplomat and statesman, played a significant role in strengthening regional solidarity and supporting Indonesia's early years of independence. As a leading advocate for Asian unity and anti-colonialism, Romulo actively promoted Indonesia's struggle for sovereignty in the international stage, using his platform as a journalist and later as president of the United Nations General Assembly. His efforts contributed to international recognition of Indonesia's independence and inspired closer cooperation between Southeast Asian nations. Carlos P. Romulo's voice of Asian vision indeed is shared and impacted on Indonesia's global vision and standing in creating a world anew with peace, equality, and prosperity. And of course, we all know that the name of Carlos P. Romulo has been honored in the name of this institution. So what are those shared values of global politics? In shaping world's new order, Indonesia and the Philippines had played a significant role in the global arena. The Asia-Africa Conference in Bandung, Indonesia in 1955, which led to the establishment of non-aligned movements, as well as UNCLOS, the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Seas in 1982, is a legal framework for all maritime and marine activities in the world. And this is followed by establishment of various global and regional organizations. First of all, starting from the Asia-Africa Conference establishment in 1955. At the historic Asia-Africa Conference in Bandung, Indonesia, 1955, Indonesia and the Philippines stood united in promoting decolonization, sovereignty, and peaceful cooperation. Indonesia hosted the event, while the Philippines, led by General Carlos P. Romulo, played a key role in shaping its inclusive and balanced principles. And this paved the way also to the establishment of ASEAN in 1967. ASEAN was established on August the 8th, 1967 by the 5 founding countries. Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, Thailand, and Singapore through the Bangkok Declaration. And what are those values that has been set in global relations after the shared values in global politics? First is the adoption of UN clause in 1982. From the very beginning, Indonesia and the Philippines recognized the significance of the global treaty, not only as coastal states, but as two of the world's largest archipelagic nations. Both understood that UN clause would offer a legal framework to define and protect their maritime sovereignty while enabling peaceful cooperation with neighbors. And also through exchange of support in multilateral fora or bodies, Indonesia fought for the Philippines' candidature in the various multilateral fora. Such reciprocal support within international organizations is a long-standing diplomatic tradition amongst ASEAN states. It exemplifies that mutual trust and strategic alignment that continue to underpin Indonesia and the Philippines' strong bilateral relations and collective multilateral engagement. Next slide, please. Which leads to the natural geopolitical necessity. The Philippines and Indonesia are united not only by geography, culture, and history, but also by shared vulnerabilities, such as the growing threat of climate change, marine environmental challenges, maritime and border security, as well as the need to develop the nations. In this context, a larger cooperation is needed both in the form of multilateral cooperation, regional cooperation, or tripartite cooperation. Global warming takes the form of diminishing land area due to higher sea level, as well as increasing flood and landslide disaster are real threats in the context of global climate change. Indonesia and the Philippines face recurring natural disasters, particularly floods and landslides. These events are often triggered by extreme rainfall, deforestation, and the increasing impact of climate change on top of the geographical condition of the two countries as a tropical, mountainous, and archipelagic countries. Indonesia and the Philippines has been collaborating through several key platforms in mitigating these issues, such as through ASEAN Agreement on Disaster Management and Emergency Response. Second, ASEAN Coordinating Center for Humanitarian Assistance, and UNDRR and UNFCCC synergies. If you want to ask me what the abbreviation means, give me time to find in the social media. Okay. And next, the marine debris microplastic impact to marine creatures is one of the major issues that has to be coordinated to resolve or manage. Likewise, food security in fish and marine products plays a lifeline role for millions of our people. Our partnership in Coral Triangle Initiative, BIMP IAGA, fisheries collaboration, and ASEAN ministerial meetings on agriculture and forestry have to ensure that sustainable fisheries, marine conservation, and regional cooperation to protect the sea can be implemented so that our future generations will continue to draw food, identity, and strength from the waters they share. All those aspects of welfare cannot be implemented without the support of maritime and border security. They are delicate issues for Indonesia and the Philippines, in particular in managing IUUF, illegal, unreported, and unregulated fishing, as well as controlling a vast marine areas, which covers more than 10 million square kilometers of ocean, rich in biodiversity, fisheries, energy resources, and critical sea lanes of communication. Furthermore, as Indonesia and the Philippines are entrusted with the stewardship of immense marine spaces, both countries are advancing efforts to assert control and promote maritime security, among others, through coordinated maritime patrols. The Philippine and Indonesian Navy and Trilateral Cooperative Arrangement, or TCA, among Indonesia, the Philippines, and Malaysia to conduct joint sea and air patrols, information sharing, and hot pursuit protocols to combat maritime threats in our shared waters. Next, I want to hit the issue of human capital development. It is a must in the current globalized digital and artificial intelligence era. Enormous challenges for Indonesia and the Philippines as growing developing countries. In the academic context, our countries have examples of bilateral agreements, university to university or government to government, which are instrumental in enhancing educational quality, supporting sustainable development, and equipping students for success in an increasing globalized workforce. And what are the milestones of all those cooperation that have been established bilaterally between Indonesia and the Philippines? The short answer is that our success lies in in the form of the ability to settle all disputes through dialogue and diplomacy. It might be simple and seem easy to achieve by general audience. However, it is very hard to create, maintain, and implement in real conditions. In 2024, Indonesia and the Philippines proudly mark 75 years of diplomatic relations. One of the most remarkable features of Indonesia-Philippines relations is the complete absence of military confrontation in over 7 decades. Despite their proximity and shared maritime boundaries, both countries have resolved differences through dialogue, legal frameworks, and diplomacy, setting an example for a peaceful neighborly conduct of Southeast Asia. This stability has enabled both nations to cooperate in maritime security and patrols, support one another in regional forums like ASEAN, and strengthen people-to-people exchanges and cultural diplomacy. The achievements to conclude exclusive economic zone agreement in 2014 between the two nations is also a milestone of our bilateral relations. Despite signing of UN clause in 1982, Indonesia and the Philippines took time to fully apply its principles to the maritime boundaries. For decades, there were overlapping claims in the Celebes Sea, Mindanao Sea, and surrounding waters. But it has been solved, although it requires quite some time, starting from 1994 as the start of initial consultation and concluded in 2014 with the signing of the EEZ boundary agreement. The most important is that the agreement was based fully on UN clause principles. In the endeavor of creating peace, stability, and prosperity in the region, particularly in the direct neighboring country, the government of Indonesia has played a significant role in supporting the peace process in southern Philippines. This includes its active involvement in peace regulations that led to the signing of the Jakarta Accord in 1996, as well as its participation in the International Monitoring Team, which helped oversee the implementation of peace agreements on the ground. Beyond peace efforts, Indonesia has served as a reference model for the Bangsamoro Autonomous Region in Muslim Mindanao, or BAM, in the areas of governance and constitutional development. Both countries have been able to conduct also annual border security cooperation, regular military training, as well as cooperation of military equipment procurement. Annual border security cooperation are conducted through the coordinated patrol, which underscores the operational synergy between the two navies. The Trilateral Cooperative Arrangement, or TCA, between Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines has yielded significant results in the collective effort to address regional maritime threats. One of the most notable outcomes of TCA is the reduction of kidnapping for ransom. And there are various regular military training and exercise which have been and scheduled to be implemented. Next, in the human capital development, we have been able to conduct educational collaboration and cultural exchanges. The Indonesian Embassy in Manila, through its education and cultural attaché, has played an active role in facilitating inter-university cooperation. Between 2021 and 2024, both countries have established approximately 181 active memoranda of understandings between higher education institutions. And achievement in the I repeat, in the economic cooperation can be seen from the immense trading relations with the fact that Indonesia is the Philippines' second largest import partner. According to trade data from Indonesia's Ministry of Trade, the Philippines ranked as the top ASEAN destination for Indonesian exports, with trade volume consistently rising in sectors such as fuels and energy, notably coal and petroleum products, construction materials, cement, steel, and ceramics, food and agricultural products consisting of palm oil, instant food and animal food, and automotive and manufacturing parts. With that, I come to present the investment and joint ventures between the two countries. From the Philippine side of investment in Indonesia, there are San Miguel Corporation and Metro Pacific Investment Corporation involved in several investments in Indonesia, primarily through its subsidiary Metro Pacific Tollways Corporation, etc. Unilab, a leading pharmaceutical company from the Philippines, has been operating in Indonesia since 1976. And PT Universal Robina Corporation, which produces well-known brands such as Jack and Jill, entered the Indonesian market in 2002, further expanding consumer goods cooperation. And on the other hand, Indonesian investment in the Philippines can be attributed to, amongst others, the Alfamart partnership with the SM Group has operated convenience stores areas in the Philippines since 2014. Dexamedica, through Dexamedica Philippines, has contributed to the Philippine pharmaceutical landscape since 2013. Calbe Pharma is another key player in pharmaceuticals, has been active in the Philippines since 2007. And Mayora Indah has been known for its beverage brands such as Kopiko. And mind you, Kopiko is Indonesian. It's not Kopiku in Filipino. And Le Mineral has established a commercial presence in the Philippine market since 2022. So, to conclude all my presentation, what is actually the way forward in achieving prosperous bilateral relations? First, that it is important to maintain geopolitical stability as a direct geographical neighbor state, Southeast Asia region as well as Indo-Pacific. In the current global and regional political landscape, it is imperative for both promoting geopolitical stability. This coordination can be pursued through bilateral channels, regional mechanisms such as ASEAN, as well as the international level. Continuous communications and collaborations between our two countries form the foundation of mutual trust, enabling us to resolve differences peacefully through negotiations and diplomacy. Second is the advancement of economic cooperation. Historically, the relationship between Indonesia and the Philippines has been rooted in trade cooperation. A stronger economic integration between our nations will contribute significantly to the prosperity of our peoples. economic cooperation is a key pillar of peace and harmonious relations among countries. It is our hope that both bilateral cooperation between Indonesia and the Philippines, as well as intra-regional cooperations, such as through BIMP IAGA, will play a critical role in realizing the ASEAN Economic Community vision, ultimately bringing shared prosperity across the region. And last but not least is the advancement of people-to-people contact through formal education as well as through arts and cultural collaboration. As we move into a new era defined by digital transformation and artificial intelligence, it is essential that individuals in both countries are equipped with the necessary skills and knowledge. Indonesia and the Philippines, as developing nations, share a common interest in enhancing technical cooperation at the university level with the aim of strengthening human resource development. By investing in the quality of our people, we will be better positioned to continue our mission of advancing the well-being and prosperity of our society. And next slide, please. I know this next slide is your favorite and my favorite. Thank you, terima kasih, and maraming salamat. I look forward to your questions. Yes. Do I moderate my own traffic of questions and answers?
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, for the insightful discussions on the relation of the Philippines and Indonesia. At this point, we will now open the floor for comments and questions relating to Philippines and Indonesia relations. Kindly approach the microphone in the center and introduce yourself by stating your name and your affiliation before asking your question. Also, to accommodate a good number of questions, we request those who would like to participate in the Q&A to raise only one question. With that, the floor is now open. Anyone?
No questions? Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, please.
Hello.
Yes, sir, please. Yes, sir. We'll go with the first gentleman here from which officer?
Good morning, sir. My name is Captain Eli Mortillero. I am from the Philippine Coast Guard and currently assigned in Maritime Security Law Enforcement Command. I had the experience to visit the Bakamla, our counterpart in Indonesia, which has provided a valuable insights in our shared security challenges and bilateral cooperation. So the Philippine Coast Guard now is currently engaged in a comprehensive, intensive to bolster our nation's maritime security and border protection capabilities. In 1975, we have a Philippine and Indonesia border crossing agreement. And just a question is there a need for, with the evolving maritime security threats and challenges right now, is there a need to review and update our bilateral agreement? Thank you, sir.
Okay. If I'm not mistaken, can we see a new form of threats to renew our bilateral relations in security? Is that right?
Yes, sir. Because of the changing, because we have already an agreement that was way back 1975, and because of the changes right now, the threats, even the I forget.
Okay. Yes. Yes. So the question is that the Coast Guard between the Coast Guard of the Philippines and Indonesia have a memorandum of understanding since 1975, and that our environment, strategic environment, is developing. Do we need to renew and review the cooperation between the two Coast Guard. Is that the question? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, yes. Well, I think 1975 is a long time behind us. So I think logically before we see any other elements to be reviewed, I think there is some need to renew in the cooperation between the two Coast Guard. For instance, one that is actually needed is that in 1975, the Coast Guard of Indonesia has not been established yet. It was still a coordinating body, but now it is a single command body like just any other Coast Guard, although not in the completed form, moving into single command Coast Guard, but it is a change from what you see from the Indonesian Coast Guard in 1975, and that is only from the side of the Coast Guard of Indonesia. Now, put that into the context of the changing dynamics in the strategic environment. There are various changes. For instance, the advance of technology, whether the advance of technology to be used by the various threats that we see as threats, or the advanced technology that should be accommodated in our response to those threats. So yes, I think it is a time to review into the content of the memorandum of understanding which you have established between Coast Guard Philippines and Coast Guard of Indonesia. Does that answer your question?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
All right, for the next question, wireless microphone will be given. The second question belongs to His Excellency in front. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you very much. Well, my name is Gilberto Moura. I'm the Brazilian ambassador here in Manila. Mr. Agus, congratulations. Very nice your presentation, very comprehensive and very pedagogical as well. Well, Indonesia is known as a very strong partner for the multilateralism. Even before, here in Asia, you have been quite important. At the same time, now maybe there will be a new member within Asia, Timor-Leste. So my question is that I know, my colleagues have reminded me that you had a very good experience with Timor-Leste, and even with Myanmar maybe. So, how are, in your opinion, the major challenges for Dili to be a full member of ASEAN? I know that you are helping a lot, because you mentioned, for instance, in your presentation, the shared common interests of the Indonesian-Philippine relationship. So you mentioned climate change, maritime environment, maritime dispute, all those issues, which are very important issues, even for Timor-Leste, take consideration the oil exploitation, all the discussions with Australia. So it's just because you are very familiar to Timor-Leste. So how could Indonesia help Timor-Leste? I know there's a huge bureaucracy. The administration within ASEAN is always, all grouping are complicated, so I know. But how you believe, maybe Jakarta can help Dili in this full integration? And the last thing to say, I'd like to congratulate Indonesia to become a full member of the BRICS. Thank you.
So, how come ASEAN?
How can Indonesia help Timor-Leste with the challenges that Timor-Leste is going to face once in ASEAN?
Okay. You refer to Timor-Leste?
Timor-Leste.
Yeah, Timor-Leste as a news member?
Yeah.
Yes. If I can interpret the question right, is it correct to interpret that how do Indonesia, on behalf of ASEAN, receive new members such as Timor-Leste as a new member to ASEAN. Yes. I think it's just like any big organization. In enlarging the organization because of the need to the various changing situation, and that new members may not be in the same characteristics of the original members. So there is always a situation like that, and that is also faced by ASEAN. But we should remember that the principles of ASEAN is not a comparison of powers, is not a comparison of military strength, but it is based on consensus. It is based on consensus in also not establishing the region through hard power, but establishing peace and zone of peace and security and non-nuclear through the soft power of consensus and through, if I can say here, from the traditional balance of power into a transformation of a balance of interest. It's easy to say and not so easy to implement, but those are the ideals of South ASEAN. And I think with those soft powers and the principle of ASEAN, any nation would have already potentials in that form. No need for a military build-up, no need to strengthen your power, but in accordance to their, as I have mostly mentioned in my presentation, through their, let's say, the cultural characteristics, the tradition, and even going back into history before modern history in pre-colonial times, we actually saw that we came from one origin. So with that, and being locked in the ASEAN, what do you call it? ASEAN focus. I think we would welcome new members, of course, based on the consensus of the members of ASEAN. That is the procedure that we use in ASEAN. Does that answer your question? I would like to ask you also, how do BRICS accept new members into BRICS?
All right. And
yes.
in the interest of time, we only have time for 2 more questions. The penultimate question will be coming from Ambassador Rosario Manalo. And the last question will be coming from our researcher, Ms. Carla. All right. The last question.
Thank you very much, Excellency, for your wonderful information this morning, your lecture. I appreciate greatly your mentioning of Carlos P. Romulo. I grew up as a career ambassador because of Carlos P. Romulo, and I was a favorite of his. In fact, whatever it be said, the Universal Declaration of Human Rights was written by Carlos P. Romulo and presented to Eleanor Roosevelt in 1945 or 46, sometime there. Now, my question to you, Excellency, is this. Every time I would come back to Manila from my postings abroad, I would always be facing ASEAN. I was very active in ASA, Mafilindo, ASA, and then ASEAN. We also have with us the Declaration of CEDAW, the Convention on the Elimination of Discrimination Against Women, the first draft of which I wrote. I would appreciate knowing to what extent presently have the CEDAW provisions been implemented to provide the women of Indonesia equality with men in every opportunity of the 17 provisions of that convention? Thank you, sir.
Yes, Sidao, yeah, yes. I knew sooner or later I would have this question, but yes, I think I would make a jump to inform you that what I have just discussed in the lift with your honorable, that right now in our department, or we call it ministry in Indonesia, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, there is a sharp and accelerated trend of to have more women than men, and and that also in the embassy, in the Indonesian embassy. In fact, we have a farewell and welcoming event if there is a change of officials in the embassy. In our last event, we bid farewell to two men officials of the embassy. And guess what? We received two women officials from Jakarta to operate in the embassy. So there is progress in Indonesia, and of course there has always been awareness of the role of women in Indonesia. But of course, as we know, because we come from a background of Asian culture, I think also that we have to enlighten the culture that basically, I think, maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, but in the traditional Asian culture, we have a tendency to have a more of man culture. And this we have to, of course, we have to transform this. But to my humble personal opinion, I think the key issue here, of course, when I ask a women colleague of mine, why do we have gender mainstreaming? Why do not have we have men mainstreaming? Maybe in the near future we will go the opposite, especially in the Indonesian Foreign Affairs Department. But no, I was joking. But that is to create a sort of an affirmative policy to enhance the role of the women. And again, back to what I was saying, to my humble opinion, I think it is a matter of education. It is not to democratize the role of women in public office, but it is to democratize the education. And this is not a structural challenge, it is more of a cultural challenge. And if what we see in Indonesia, which of the dimension of institution that is now most advanced in gender in mainstreaming, it is the private sector. We are seeing many CEOs being held by lady officials. And why? Because they have a better background of education. Why? Because they come from middle-up families. So I think the challenge here is more cultural than structural. if that answers your question.
Does. Thank you, Excellency. Terima kasih.
Thank you.
All right, for our last question will be coming from one of our researchers from the Institute. Ms. Carla, please.
Good morning, Ambassador. I am Carla from a researcher. So, Indonesia is a recognized middle power. What do you see is Indonesia's long-term role in the region amidst intensifying geopolitical competition? Also, what are Indonesia's non-negotiables or tidak bisa ditawar in its strategic calculations when interacting with other states? Thank you.
Okay. Can you say your questions in your questions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So my question is, what is Indonesia's first? What is I'll start with the last one. What is Indonesia's non-negotiables? When you say you call it like tidak bisa ditawar, it's like
Tidak bisa?
yeah.
Tidak
bisa ditawar, I think. It's like non-negotiables that is difficult to be overcome, and it's strategic calculations and in interactions with other states.
The interaction with
Other states, other countries.
other
Countries.
Other
Yes.
countries, yes.
Yes. And then the first one is, what do you see would be Indonesia's broader role in the region as a middle power?
As a middle power.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. I think you come from the School of Foreign Policy and Diplomacy here in the Philippines. Okay. Again, Indonesia is one of the regional initiators of ASEAN, cannot break away from the ASEAN principles, and has always positioned the ASEAN principles in the cornerstone of Indonesian foreign policy. And again, this is reflected on the history of Indonesia. Actually, if we can be fair to our history, Indonesia has been the black swan in the region. Now, if we go back to the modern history during the Cold War, most of the countries in the area belonged to a military alliance. There was the Southeast Asian Treaty Organization. There was the five-power defense arrangement. But Indonesia never belonged to any of those military or security alliance. Maybe because that we thought that we have fought for our independence, although we were much assisted by the global situation, the end of World War II. Right? So that created a sort of a national a national tradition, a national feeling of confidence. Yeah, natural feeling of confidence. But again, and that has been enlarged through ASEAN to other ASEAN members in the enlargement of these principles. So into the future, I think for the region, it is not only for Indonesia to say, it is not only for Indonesia to respond, but we will always consult with our ASEAN member state colleagues. And with that, I think the strength not only falls into the one national power of Indonesia, but the national powers of the member states of ASEAN. But we don't believe that a military solution is to be used as the primary factor to resolve any potential conflicts into the future. One military solution will always lead into another military threat. So the ideals that we are always fighting for is peace, friendship, consensus, so that we can have more time and put our resources more to enhance the prosperity of our people, rather than to face them with the confrontation of military power. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, and thank you everyone for your active participation. At this point, I would like to invite His Excellency to give his concluding statements to this lecture. Your closing statement, sir.
So what do I do?
Your closing statements. Closing statements.
Closing statements. I know it may not be in line with your aspiration, Her Excellency. Closing statements. We will never see the end of threats, whatever the form of threats are. That will challenge us. How do we respond to threats? But again, we see more and more, especially natural threats coming from disasters, that those sort of threats cannot be dealt with by a single entity, by one country. It has to be based on a collective collaboration and collective cooperation. And there has to be principles of cooperation of how do we do that. And I think ASEAN have already built those principles. So there's no other way. Let us collaborate, work together to build a better world. Thank you for all your attention.
Thank you very much, Your Excellency, and thank you everyone for the engaging discussions as well. We hope that today's lecture and conversations have sparked new insights and learnings for everyone. And at this point, we would like to express our sincerest appreciation to His Excellency for his presence and invaluable insights on our country's relations. May I please now invite the Foreign Service Institute's Director General, Francisco Noel R. Fernandez III, to award our simple token of appreciation, one of FSI's publications, The Seeds of Peace, the Philippines and UN Peacekeeping Operation from 1962 to 2021, and the Certificate of Appreciation. Now we will be doing a class or family photo. A seat will be provided to His Excellency right in the middle, and our photographers will be placed here in front so that all of the attendees will be captured in one big family photo.
One more, sorry. Okay, in 3, 2, 1. In 3, 2, 1.
Once again, thank you, Ambassador Widjojo, for your presence today. We also appreciate our gracious audience for your active participation and the organizing team for their dedication to making this event a success. Before we conclude, a few announcements. FSI is committed to continuous improvement. We value your feedback, so please take a moment to complete the short evaluation survey. Simply scan the QR code at the back of the program to share your thoughts on today's session and complete our client satisfaction survey. And to our dear guests, we look forward to having you again to the next Ambassadors Lecture Series. For updates, kindly follow our FSI's official social media pages. The program has officially